Alright, you lot. Buckle up, because today we're diving head first into one of the dumbest, most overused phrases in gaming. Absolute myth of Git Gud. Yeah, I can already hear basement dwellers loading up the keyboards. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. It helps the channel grow. Now let's rip this nonsense apart. Right, let's talk about absolute state of gaming elitism. You're not type that sees someone struggling in a game and immediately starts foaming at mouth. Skill issue. Just get good, mate. It's not game's fault, you trash. Yeah, classic arguments at keyboard warriors who think difficulty is only measure of skill. These are the same people who treat playing Dark Souls like it's a religious experience, as if dodging virtual sword swings somehow makes them a superior human being. But here's truth they don't want to hear. Games are meant to be fun, not a bloody endurance test. Not everyone has endless free time to master every mechanic like it's a second job. Some of us play for relaxation, for escapism, or, shock horror, just to have a good time without wanting to throw controllers through window. But worst part? These gatekeeping goblins act like difficulty is sacred, untouchable and unchangeable, as if mere existence or an easier mode will somehow erase their own achievements. But if you add an easy mode, it'll ruin experience. Game was designed to be hard. Mate, if your entire sense of gaming superiority collapses because someone else is playing on an easier setting, you don't care about difficulty, you care about feeling special. Here's the thing, options don't take out away from you. If a game has an easy mode, you can still play on hard. Your experience is untouched. But for some reason, idea that someone else might be having a relaxed time personally offends these people. It's like saying movies should only exist in black and white because that's how they used to be made. It's nostalgia-fueled nonsense wrapped in elitism. And before anyone says, well, back in my day, games were harder. Yeah, because they had to be. Arcade machines were designed to drain your wallet. That don't mean every game in 2024 needs to be an unforgiving nightmare. At end of the day, difficulty into badge or honour, it's just a game setting. You want to grind for hours and flex about it? Go for it. But stop acting like your way is only way to play. Because guess what? Gaming's for everyone. And if that upsets you, maybe it's time to get good and accept that. See, this is where a lot of people get the wires crossed. Difficulty and accessibility are not the same thing. They never have been and never will be. Yet every time conversation comes up, some genius pops up with, games shouldn't be made easier just because some people are bad at them. If you can't play it, then don't play it. Not everything needs to cater to casuals. Mate, accessibility isn't about making game easier, it's about making sure people can actually play the damn thing. Let's break it down. Difficulty is a choice. It's about how challenging a game is designed to be. You can ramp it up for an intense experience or lower it for a more relaxed one. It's preference. Accessibility is about barriers. It's about removing unnecessary obstacles that stop people from even engaging with game in first place. And no, I don't mean skill issue, I mean actual barriers. Colorblind modes for people who can't distinguish certain colours. Remappable controls for people who physically can't press certain buttons. Subtitles and UI adjustments for people with visual or hearing impairment. None of these things make game easier, they just make it playable. But of course, every time a game adds a simple accessibility feature, you get same outrage. Soft gaming, hand loading, next they'll be adding cheat codes. Oh no, someone with disability might actually be able to enjoy the game. The horror! Seriously, what's logic here? Does letting people play somehow ruin your experience? Someone with motor issues remaps controls to actually use them. Does that physically hurt you? Newsflash. The game is designed with multiple options to accommodate more people. That's a win. And best part? You still get to play it however you want. It's real kicker. Most Git Good warriors aren't even as good as they think they are. They're not topping leaderboards. They're not breaking speedrun records. Nah, they just want to feel superior to someone else. Because at the end of the day, this argument was never about difficulty. It was never about keeping games pure. It's about certain people needing to feel like gaming is an exclusive club where they get to be gatekeepers. Well, I've got bad news for you, sunshine. Gaming left Gate open a long time ago, and it's not shutting anytime soon. So, time to settle this once and for all. Do difficulty options actually ruin games? Because if you listen to some people, you'd think adding an easy mode to a game is equivalent to burning sacred text. It destroys intended experience. Devs want you to suffer, that's all point. If you don't want to play it where it was meant to be played, you're not playing it at all. Oh, do me a favour. It's reality. No one's forcing you to play on easy. If you want to break your spirit on hardest difficulty, go right ahead. But mere existence or an option for other people doesn't suddenly erase your experience. Does adding subtitles ruin a movie? Does a photo mode destroy a game's artistic vision? Does a pause button break immersion? No. So why is game players' control over their own experience suddenly a problem? Let's be real. This whole intended experience argument is a load of rubbish. You know what intended experience really means? Whatever gets most people to buy game. And guess what? More difficulty options brings more players. More players means more money. More money means, wait for it, more games. Now you might say, but Souls games are special. Challenge is what makes them great. Fair enough. Some games are built around difficulty. But not every game needs to be a brutal endurance test. And let's be honest, most Git Gud warriors don't actually want pure experience. The same ones who look up boss guides before even trying, watch speedruns to copy strats, summon help in Elden Ring, then act like they soloed it, to spare me true experience speech. At the end of the day, difficulty options aren't a threat, they're a choice. The game gives me ability to tweak a setting to make it fit my skill level, my schedule, my patience, then that's just good design. And if that offends you, that sounds like a skill issue. Here's a wild concept that some people just can't wrap their tiny little minds around. Not everyone plays games to suffer. Shocking, I know. But some of us, brace yourselves, play games for fun. Yet if you're not treating every match like it's bloody world championship, some tryhard will roll in with a, well, maybe if you played properly, you'd enjoy it nonsense. Now, do me a favour. Gaming into military simulation, it's not a test of your worth as a human being. Some people just want to switch off after a long day at work and hop into a game and enjoy themselves. But no, apparently that's not allowed. If you're not sweating your guts out in a PvP match, casual. If you want an easy mode in a single-player game, you're ruining experience. If you just want to enjoy a game's world without dying 400 times in a tutorial, skill issue. Mate, let me be clear. If your idea of fun is constant suffering, that's on you. But don't come crying because someone else don't share your masochistic tendencies. And let's talk about time. Not everyone has endless free hours to dedicate to a game. Some people work 40 plus hours a week. Some have kids. Some just don't want to spend their entire evening bashing their head against a difficulty wall. And here's kicker. People don't have time for a game, they just won't buy it. You think developers care about your gatekeeping? They care about sales. And if more people will buy their game because they added an easier mode, guess what? They'll do it. Because at the end of the day, gaming is a business, not an elitist club. Someone wants to play a game on easy mode, story mode, or even God mode. What hell does it matter? You're not playing their game, they are. And if that really bothers you, maybe you're one who needs to get good at minding your own bloody business. Let's make this crystal clear. If you've watched this far and still filming, this message is for you. Listen, mate, no one is saying you can't enjoy hard games. No one's taking away your challenge. No one is forcing you to play easy mode. What we are saying is simple. Not everyone has time to master every game. Not everyone plays games the same way. Game people options don't affect you in slightest. But if that upsets you, if thought as someone else playing on a lower difficulty somehow ruins your experience, then I hate to break it to you, but that sounds like a personal problem. You're not gatekeeper of gaming. You don't get to decide how people enjoy their hobby. And if you're genuinely this angry about someone having an easier time in a game that don't affect you in any way, maybe it's time to touch grass. And don't come at me with, but I suffered so everyone else should suffer too nonsense. That's just gaming Stockholm syndrome. If you struggled and didn't enjoy it, why hell would you wish that on someone else? Gaming's meant to be fun. For hardcore, for casuals, for people who suck at it, for ones who never play or note above normal, for ones who only play single player games. For everyone. So to all elitist twonks still clinging to git good nonsense, maybe it's you who needs to git good at realising gaming has moved on and you're only one still stuck in 2009. But before you go, here's the deal. If you enjoyed this rant, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe and leave your comments below. Tell me, do you think difficulty options ruin games? Or are gatekeepers just crying into the keyboards? Might even feature your comment on a future video. Want even more content? Join channel memberships for exclusive perks. Join Discord, links in the description. Follow me on X for unfiltered gaming texts. And that's a wrap. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.